Hello there. Take two. Take two. Yes, this is the second time I'm coming live this morning due to a technical hitch. Time has changed. Our clocks have gone forward. So I decided I would do this twice this morning. So say hello to me in the comments if you are here with me live. So yes, what happened was the clocks went forward and everybody didn't realize. So I'm back again. So, how are you going, my loves? How are you going? I hope you are well. Um, and whether you are folding laundry or trying to wrangle kids, or you have had a really rough week like me and you've had enough and you may be having a bit of a cry, welcome to my table. Come and join me, sit with me a while. Let's just chew the cud about life. Um, Nothing is off limits here. We can talk about just about anything as long as we keep it respectful. I know that you're busy. We're all really, really busy juggling a million things. But for the next 10 seconds, let's just take the focus off of the rest of the things and bring them back to ourselves. Let's do a check in, shall we? So, deep breath in and out. One more and out. And let's just check in 0 to 10. How are you going? 0, life is a bag of poop. Or 10, couldn't be better, thanks. It is gold. And I'm going to tell you that this week it has been a roller coaster ride of emotion from 1 to 5 to 3 to 7 to 10 to 2 to 1 to 0. I have probably experienced all of it this week rather. So yeah, it's been a toughie. Yes, Sarah, you're at an 8. That's good. An 8 is good. For me this week, I've had this really strong, overwhelming, distressing sense of how helpless and hopeless things feel. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, I'm going to be really honest, and not on my live YouTube channel. I don't do a lot of talking about this. I do within my membership because it's relevant for my members. So, good morning, ladies. Nice to see you. So, the world feels a little bit out of control right now. I'm coming up for 60 years old this year, and I know I look amazing for my age. Thank you very much. But what I am noticing is a sense of deep global uncertainty and a sense of hopelessness and helplessness globally as the world is going through some really big shifts. Issues in the US, in Europe, in Israel, and in Palestine. And it is challenging for some of us. It's very challenging. For myself, I am a really empathetic human. I'm very boundaried, and I know how to keep my boundaries nice and sturdy. But as I watch the world, it's not happening to me. I live in a country that is exquisite and beautiful and calm and peaceful for the most part, and it is beautiful. And Australians are very laid back and relaxed, and we tend not to give two hoots about most things, really. Um, it's just an easygoing culture. And so when I look at the rest of the world, I view it from a place of safety. But I also know that witnessing things, because I'm a therapist, witnessing things is important for the person who is being persecuted or harmed. And so as I watch the world right now, and I keep my eyes on that, even though I'm finding that very, very challenging. The world is looking very broken. Um, and for me personally, I believe for me personally that to witness that is a really important thing. I witness many things. Many of the women who come here to my YouTube channel, I know, who I have worked with for long periods of time. I witness their heartbreak and their sadness when a relationship ends, or their partner decides they don't want to be there anymore, or somebody's parents have passed away, or their children have decided that they don't want to be connected to them anymore, or they lose a pet, or they lose a job, and I stand and I witness that. Many who have health issues that are out of their control. And so I witness people suffering for a living. That's what I do. And so when I look at this global suffering, it really feels overwhelming. And for me, in this past week, it has felt unbearable. I was in tears yesterday as I watched unthinkable, unspeakable brutality happening to women in the US, and it absolutely broke my heart. And I cried. I was moved, and I was deeply saddened that men could be brutalizing women, and saying that it's okay. And it just took my breath away. And I heard stories about children being frightened out of their minds. And it made me sad to my core that men could choose to do that, that would choose that. And I understand people have jobs, but we can do our jobs compassionately and with empathy and kindness. We can do that. The toxic masculinity, the the masculinity that's held up as power over other people is just disgusting to me and everything I believe in. I am surrounded by men who lead with grace, who are stewards of the people around them, who move with kindness and compassion and empathy, who use their physical powerfulness to assist, not to harm. And so it's felt very unsettling, very unsettling. And what I know as a therapist is that collective helplessness, this helplessness that so many of us feel right now, really can stir up inside of us old personal pain. And I have felt that myself this week. You know, it's the same feeling we get in our lives when we have zero control over something. It's hard. There are many things we do not have control over in our lives. And my job, I believe, when I work with women who are feeling very helpless, is to try and empower women to know that they do have a voice. They can be heard. They don't have to fall into helplessness and hopelessness. And there's ways of doing that. And for me yesterday, the way that I did that was the way that I do most of my distress and upset, which is I went into my garden and I watered my plants. It's been dry here. And so for me, small acts, tiny acts are the things that bring us back to feeling empowered and feeling like we have agency and we have rights and we are going to be okay. So I watered my garden. I made a meal, even though I didn't feel like it. I had a chronic headache for the last 2 days. I don't suffer with headaches much, but it just wouldn't shift. And so I made a meal that would nourish me from some of the food in my garden. You know, reaching out to people who are kind and compassionate and understanding and connecting with them, also really important. And, you know, getting out in the fresh air. And those who know me also know that I am blessed to live in an amazing part of the world where I watch the whales migrate every year up and down the coast. And it brings me just joy to know that these beautiful, gorgeous sea creatures are just going about their business while humanity is a mess. So for me, reminding myself that hopelessness is a state in my nervous system and not a fact is really important. It's a feeling, not a fact. And it's important to come back to ourselves. Let me know if you ever felt hopeless or helpless. Let me know if things right now globally are grinding your gears and making life just a little bit more challenging than it might be. It's not easy sometimes showing up in the world. It's not easy witnessing atrocities. It's not easy. But I think we all have obligations to each other. You know, we are more similar than we are different. You know, if you're a woman, you're more like me than you're not. If you are a mum, you're more like me than you're not. If you are a partner or have been a partner, you are more like me than not. If you speak English, you are more like me than not. If you have two hands, you are like me than not. 2 feet, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyeballs, 2 ears, you're more like me than not. If you have hair on your chinny chin chin, you're more like me than not. If you've gone through menopause, you're more like me than not. You know, we are more similar than we are different. And I think that's important to remember. In our common humanity, that is more important. Our common humanity, we are more like each other than we are not. You know, I live in a community. If anything happened in my community, I would be here to assist people. I had 2 young boys who were in my neighborhood at school holidays, and they got lemons from their grandma. They were very excited about that enormous bag of friggin' lemons, enormous bag. And they came to ask me because they gave me 3 of their precious lemons. What are you going to do with your lemons? I said, I'm going to make lemonade. And they came back, hang on there, they said. And they went home and got their big bag of lemons. And they said, let's make lemonade together. And I had chores to do and I was busy. And I thought, you know what? Stuff it. I'm going to make lemonade with these boys because it's a moment. And I might not ever get to make lemonade with these 2 kids again. And so together we did, I don't know, 50, 60 lemons. And we made strawberry lemonade, and then we made lemonade, and it was delicious. And then they decided they wanted to sell it in the community. So we took photographs and put them on the internet, and we made our stall. And I used it as a teachable moment. We bought paper cups from the internet, and I taught them about profit margins and about outlays, and they made a profit, and they loved it. And the community loved it. In that moment, 2 new neighbours I'd never met came to my driveway and bought lemonade. And 3 other neighbours came and just chatted to each other because they hadn't for a while. And people stopped and pulled into my driveway and said how much they really admired what I was doing with my house and that they loved the sunflowers every year. I think that's important. I don't care what their religious beliefs are. I don't care who they love or how they love or why they love. I just care that they do love. I don't care about, what jobs they do or how much money they earn. I don't care about that. I care that they're human beings like me and that we're more similar than we are different. And that is really important. It's so important. History has taught all of us that healing really does help us change, and that sometimes healing is very slow and it's very uneven and it's very unjust at times. I can't control the world, and neither can you, but we can be human in it. We can have our common humanity. We can reach out to somebody, whether we agree with them or not about many things. We can be there for each other. And our presence is itself an act of resistance. And I think that is incredibly important. Lots of people who work online are not talking about what is going on because they want to stay out of it. I don't get that, if I'm really honest. I find that really intriguing and a bit distressing, if I'm really honest. Bearing witness to things is really important. There are times in our history when we turned away from what was happening because we didn't want to get involved. We should be involved. They're fellow human beings. They are more like us than they are different. We should be involved. We should care. We should be compassionate. We should be empathetic. It's not okay to just turn our backs and let it go. Well, you choose different things to me, and therefore it doesn't matter what happens to you, in my opinion at least. So we are more similar than we're different. So this week I encourage you all to reach out to people and be kind to people, to smile to people, to witness things that maybe you'd rather turn away from. If you're feeling all this stuff that's going on, please know that it's because you are awake and aware, and that good hearts do exist. They exist everywhere, and doing quiet good work is really important, especially when it doesn't see the light of day. These platforms we're on, they push down our throats some really awful, distressing, upsetting, biased opinions. And we need voices of kindness, compassion, and connection, and belonging. We need that more than ever. We do. So I encourage you to do that, and I invite you to do that one single breath at a time. So my darling ones, I hope you're well. Let me know if you want to ask me a question. It looks like you ladies are also feeling stuff this week with a 2 out of 10. That's very low. Let me know what's going on. Let's have a chat. Like I said, this today's live was a bit intriguing because of the time change. There was some confusion. So I've done this twice this morning already, and as everybody who knows me knows, I really love mornings, especially nice and early ones. I don't love mornings at all. I don't. I've got my special T-shirt on today. Stronger together. Stronger together. I wore this today because we are stronger together. We are. So let me know how you're going. What's going on? How you're feeling? If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Debbie Carberry. I am a relationship coach and a university-trained therapist. On this, my little platform on the internet, you will find playlists that will help you if your partner's had an affair, if you are coming out of a long-term relationship and you are struggling, then this platform is here to assist you and guide you. I have playlists at the top of my channel. I also have a little store with some survival guides in it for now. There will be more things coming for the little shop. And I put out videos twice, longer form videos twice a week, and then every single day I do short form videos. So if you are interested in any of that, please do come along to my channel. Of course, subscribe and like and subscribe. That's really, really important for my channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I'm coming live. I try and do this once a week, although today's been twice. I try and do this once a week, just to have a chat and see how people are going, find out what is happening for people in the world. So if you have a question for me, let me know. If not, I will call it a short one today. So if you've got questions or comments you want to make, just let me know in the chat. And please don't be shy. I only use your first name to help with your privacy. And of course, YouTube, my belief is, and my understanding is, that it doesn't show your comments at all. So I'm not really sure if that's absolutely correct, but I know when I look back at them, they are not there. So if you want to ask me a question, you can always delete your question too. You can ask it and then delete it if you're concerned about privacy. It doesn't look like we have any questions today. So if you have a question, please pop it in. I'm really keen to answer your questions. You can ask me about, if a long-term relationship has ended, if you're dealing with an affair, if you have had an affair and you're struggling, you can also ask me questions. If it's about your adult children or your younger children, divorce or separation, I can answer you questions about that. I can also talk to you about aging parents, about your own personal journey through menopause and midlife. And I do love to talk about mental health and the gut and how we take care of our gut to protect ourselves and make ourselves nice and healthy and strong emotionally and physically. So go ahead and let me know if you have any questions at all. Hey, Kate, thinking about this month's topic of people pleasing. So in my membership, we are talking about people pleasing this month. Is it unhealthy to feel pleasure and good about yourself if you help and support others? Of course it is. I think, isn't that wonderful that when we do good things and we're kind and compassionate, then that does feel good, right? That we feel good about ourselves. I guess when it comes to people pleasing, it's a bit different. So if we are doing something, when we say yes, when we would rather say no, if we do things that we don't want to do, then we generally don't feel good. We feel resentment if they don't, because we have expectations. I'll do this good thing and this person will really like me, or this person will be really grateful, or this person will want to have more connection with me. So when we do something with an expectation of getting something in return, or we do it with, because we're looking for something else, we're people pleasing, we're doing it because we're trying to please somebody, then if they don't give us that, we're probably going to feel resentful and pretty unhappy. So if we're giving freely without any, and the word has gone from me completely, without anything attached to it, then yes, of course, we're going to feel good if we have something to help and support someone. But people pleasing is not the same. People pleasing is doing something we don't want to do. People pleasing is doing a no to us and a yes to them. It's saying, I'm going to sacrifice something so that you can have what you want. And that's not the same thing at all. When we are doing something with clear intention to just do it without wanting anything in return, then absolutely, we can feel really positive and good about ourselves. People pleasing is often exactly the opposite of what you're saying, is that we do things for other people and then we feel good because they tell us, thank you so much, I really appreciate you, you're a really good person, and now I feel good about myself. But I had to sacrifice some of me so that you would get that, so that you would tell me that I'm good enough and worthy enough. Hope that makes sense for you, lovely. All right, Sarah, as you know, I usually find things to do today. Help when I am worked up. I've been having a hard time lately figuring out if I need relaxation or just exhausting work. So I think sometimes when we don't like being still, when we don't enjoy the stillness and the slowness and the calmness, we will busy ourselves, you know what I mean? But I think sometimes when we're really distressed, one of the things we need to do is to stop and to just breathe and to check in with ourselves. I was having a difficult day yesterday, and my partner really struggles when I have a difficult day. So my partner got busy because my partner didn't know what to do with me while I was struggling. And at one point, I just said, please just stop. Your busyness is not going to make me feel better. I feel the feelings I have. It's okay. Maybe you could sit with the discomfort you are feeling because I'm uncomfortable, rather than busying yourself trying to not be still because it feels so uncomfortable. So I think there are times when we need to slow down and think about, what am I doing here? Am I trying to avoid my feelings by getting busy and tiring myself, or am I giving myself a break from the overwhelm and doing something that actually will help me feel better in the longer term? So you just have to check in with yourself and really check in, you know what I mean? Get honest with yourself about, have I sat with this? Am I processing something? Is there something I need to deal with that I'm not dealing with right now? And once you've done that, looking at, okay, now that I've finished dealing with this, now do I want to busy myself physically? But sometimes, we do so that we don't feel. So it's important to just work out which is which. I hope that was helpful for you, my love. Okay, so for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Debbie Carberry. I'm a relationship coach online. I'm a university trained therapist. I help women from around the world, some of which are in my membership who are here. Thank you very much, members. And that's why I did the second one today, because I knew my members would want to come and we had the time difference. So I will be doing these for my members. I'll be doing these at the new time because the clocks have gone forward where I live. So yeah, just make sure when you're coming next week, it's an hour earlier than I normally do it. So what was I saying? I can't remember now. See, I'm distracted. So yeah, I think I am being mindful of my own energy at the moment, around helplessness and hopelessness, and reminding myself about what I do have power and control over and what I don't. I am leaning into connection, which I'm finding really is helpful for me to manage the way I'm feeling with things that are going on in the world. So I encourage you to do that. If you are in a difficult place, in a difficult moment, for whatever reason, I really encourage you to just find rituals in your life that are grounding in the moment. For me, my garden is one of those places that it helps me feel better. Putting my hands in the dirt, planting seeds and watching them grow, and harvesting. I have my first cucumber coming, which I cannot believe, to be really honest with you. I am stunned that I have a cucumber this early in spring. I bought some archways from my local hardware store, which are very nasty and very cheap and tacky, but they will hold cucumbers up. I've potted out my pumpkins, which are now at the other side of the yard, and they're going to just take up the whole garden. But I've never done them before, and why not? I say it's nice to be self-sufficient in things. I have canned up more lemonade than you can poke a stick at, both strawberry lemonade and regular lemonade, that I made with the kids the other day. They got some and I got some, and I have a lot. Because I'm going to do a little stall at the end of my garden for local people to come and take some of the produce from my yard, which is all organic and fresh and delicious. And groceries are expensive, and I have abundance, and I want to share it with my community. So that will be happening later in the spring. So I'm very excited about that as I see my seedlings grow, which I'm also going to be just selling those little seedlings off as well, so that people who maybe struggle to get their seeds to grow have plants that are already started out. So that is where I am at today. If you have any questions or any comments, pop them in now. If not, I'm going to head off, and I encourage you to look after yourself, take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself. Come and join me here every Thursday if you have questions, or just for companionship and somewhere to pull up a seat at the table and know that there is space for you always at my table. And in this particular table, the circle just gets bigger. So the more people who sit, the wider the circle gets. It's never that we run out of seats. There is always enough space for everybody here. We are respectful, kind, and non-judgmental, which I think is very important, incredibly important, actually. So my darlings, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. To my members, please note that these will be earlier moving forward, because my clocks have gone forward. For some parts in the world they go forward, and not for others. So only one state in Australia doesn't put their clocks forward, and that happens to be Kathy's state, which is why we had a bit of a mix-up this week, but that's okay. All right, my darling ones, there are no more questions. I'm going to head off. Take good care of yourself, okay? Take good care of yourself. Let me know in the comments. I do come back and read them if you have any questions or comments you want to make. And I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Take the best care of yourselves. And I will see you all again next time. Bye, everyone.